space with no time to waste. The sun is getting dim. Our fate is up to him. Will he find an answer to the threat so scary? It's a monumental task for Project Hail
Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to Literarily Wasted. It is February. It is time for our book discussion, which is Project Hail Mary.
Yay.
And we are very, very excited to be talking about this book. It's kind of a popular book right now because the movie's coming out next month on March 30th, 20th,
I have no idea.
something. It's at the end of March.
In
when the
March.
movie- yeah, the end of March is when the movie's coming out. And so we are actually, for the first time, going live on Instagram. So if you are watching this on Instagram, hi. My name is Adam. This is Christy. We have special guests on with us tonight. Alex, yay! And Kathy, yay! Kathy, our resident biologist.
Alex is too.
And both of y'all, science people. You're both biologists?
No. No. We're at
Animal
a
science counts.
We're like in science where I read the book and I was like, that's really cool. And then Kathy read the book and she was like, I have questions about the evolution of this thing. And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know.
So I am very excited to hear y'all's scientific take on this book, because this book was all sorts of science. So if you're watching us on Instagram, I see nobody is right now, but the day is young. Welcome. This is Literarily Wasted, and we're talking about books. So again, we're talking about Project Hail Mary, and I think we should just go ahead and dive in. Also, who's here? Kristen, Stacy, Brandy, Cindy, Brenda, Martin, Tiffany, Kelly, Willa, Giggles, hello, aloha, Anna, Tiffany, Jennifer, Adrian, Tim, Carrie, Martin, Jeff. Jeff says hello in YouTube land. I feel like I saw you over there on Instagram for just a second. I can see you. Okay, so hi everybody. Willa, Dan, Leanne, March 20th, IMAX says Kent. That's when the date comes out, or when the movie comes out. Okay, so all you science people in the comments, also very excited to have you here. Welcome to all the Instagram viewers. I see Kathy's house.
Oh, you saw me get on there and look. I didn't even comment. I almost commented.
I can see who's there.
I was curious to see what it looked. I've never seen anything live on Instagram before.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
Now, Susan is here tonight for once.
Woohoo!
Susan, Dan, you got Susan. Hey, awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you. Let's dive in. Let's start talking about this Project Hail Mary, because this is a good one. First impressions, overall high-level overview of what you thought of Project Hail Mary. Go, Kathy.
I really enjoyed it a lot. It's not my favorite kind of sci-fi. Like, I enjoyed it the way I like reading Becky Chambers, kind of like interesting, people say it's low stakes, but it's not low stakes. There are stakes, but like chill, fun, just kind of popular sci-fi. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought the like engineering and the physics aspect was good. The artificial selection stuff was really cool, and the characters were fun.
All right, that's a thumbs up, I think, from Kathy. Yep. What about you, Alex?
I was willing to hijack this book club to make us read it, so I love it. Now that we've read what was the one we did with the professor in space and they were like Alien Clay. Now that we've read Alien Clay, this is not the book club's first book like this, but this was my first book that I read where the alien, like the initial like alien life form was like a bacteria and not like a being, like an intelligent. So I thought that was super cool the first time I read it because I was like, I've never read a first contact where your first contact was like a germ. I was like, well, that's an interesting concept and probably way more likely. So I really enjoyed it. The math parts and physics parts, I just was like, yep, sure. Sounds good to me. And then the biology part, I really enjoyed that part a lot more. But the rest, I was just like, yeah, I believe you, Mr. Expert. I bet that works great.
What about you, Christy?
I loved it. Like just from the very beginning, it was so fun and so just entertaining. And it was such a quick read. And I just really enjoyed it. I'm really glad we read it.
Nice. I hated it. I'm just kidding. I also really, really like this book. It was super fun. I can see why they're turning it into a movie because it's a movie in a book form. Brandy says, y'all got me to actually enjoy a sci-fi book.
Yay.
All right. But I thought this was a really engaging. It was a story well told. I've seen like reviews of people like on Goodreads and stuff. Were like, hey, he's not a great writer, but I thought the writing was pretty good. I thought it was accessible, especially for the amount of science that was in this book. And structurally, I think it moved along even with the two timelines. I really enjoyed it. So everybody know that's what we're going into this. We're all people who like the book, but if you didn't like the book, we want to hear from you also.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you you're wrong.
Well, and if you weren't at the club meeting, I think we shared the story during the Super Bowl. The preview came on.
Yep. For the movie.
For the movie, and we both realized it, and we both started making a lot of sound and like ran out of the room, and like our kid was like right there, and so was his family, and they looked at us like we were crazy people. But after reading this book, that was the right thing to do.
It was the right thing to do.
I have no regrets.
The right thing.
We can talk about that a little bit more too.
Well, and that's one of the really cool things about this book, going into it knowing nothing and like getting information in the same timeline that Ryland Grace gets information was really effective and amazing. Like it was a really awesome experience. Yeah,
it was one of those things where amnesia as a plot device works in this case, and there was also a really cool reveal at the end about the amnesia, like it being a side effect of the coma. No. It's actually kind of nefarious.
Oh, not kind of. It was absolutely.
Well, we can talk about the ethics of what they did because
and we will.
The needs of the many, as Mr. Spock would say. And so we can definitely talk about the ethics of that decision, and what they did to Ryland Grace. For those new to this live stream, if you're watching us on Instagram for the first time, there will be spoilers. So spoiler alert for this whole live discussion. But so let's get into it. So we have two timelines, and I believe the flashback timeline is sort of as he's remembering it, right? Like it's
because it had said that like, and I did. This is why I'm glad I reread it before this, because I forgot. Like I thought it was just like in my head, it was just like he was giving you flashbacks so that you didn't have to have the story all at once. But it did say that it was like as he came out of it more, like stuff just came back to him and he didn't have to like try to remember it. And then they like kind of correlated. Like I don't remember which order it went, but usually it was like something's happening in space and then like the memory that would like kind of relate to that would come up and then you go back. And so they kind of, I feel like they thread together better than like, here's 200 pages of trying to make a plan. And then here's 200 pages in space.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it like threaded better.
Yeah, and it was good as the device of like sort of uncovering his memories too, because it was always the flashback was always kind of related to what happened next in the present, right? And so I thought that was kind of effectively done. And they're talking about it in the comments section. I put some up there where people are wondering, and I was wondering this too, whether the coma drugs helped the memory drugs helped him survive
That or being knocked out
the coma,
from the
or
beginning.
being sedated or whatever helped him survive the coma, which is
I didn't think about
possible.
that. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. That's really interesting.
I had that thought. So the great minds in the
Good
comments.
job.
But it was never really unveiled to us. But the premise being Project Hail Mary, obviously, that the sun is losing its energy. There's they've discovered that there's a trail of microscopic organisms that are sapping the energy from the sun to take it back to Venus, or to take it to Venus so they can breed and then return to the sun, right? And this organism is so plentiful that it is like draining the sun, and then the sun,
it's gonna drain it by 10% over time.
Yes, and that will have catastrophic effects on the planet, and thus we must save it. They've discovered that there's a star, Tau Ceti, that is not affected by this astrophage infection, and so they send a spaceship, Project Hail Mary, to go and investigate why. That's the basic premise of Project Hail Mary. Now, while he's there, we get the reveal of. Okay, well, first of all, as I want to ask y'all, as like science people, and as especially the biologists, what did y'all think of the whole like microscopic organisms? The concept, first of all, that like organisms don't need water. And that was his big thesis, right? That he wrote. And then just the concept of this single-celled organism, basically, that has this protective barrier. I don't even know what you'd call it, that like shields it from pretty much everything. What was going through y'all's heads when y'all were reading about this biology stuff?
I mean, I thought it was cool. There was a lot of suspended disbelief and kind of just going along with it. I don't know much about microscopic organisms, but I know that there are some organisms that live like down in the depths of the ocean by hydrothermal vents that can survive insane temperatures and pressures, and there's some organisms that can survive things that we wouldn't think that they could. So it's not entirely beyond my belief that something like the astrophage could exist. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. The water thing was interesting too. And I would totally believe that something like that, where he has this huge, like kind of groundbreaking theory, he writes about it, everyone attacks him, and so he just like leaves academia. I would totally believe that.
He goes to teach like sixth grade or seventh grade or whatever grade.
Yeah, he's a middle school teacher.
Yeah.
Carrie's, I love the thesis about life not needing water. Our search for life is so centered on the idea that life elsewhere will look like life on Earth. So yeah, I think it's a cool premise, even if it was hate written, Ryland. But I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm not a biologist, so like I thought, for me, I was like, this is just super creative. Like, coming up with this type of organism that has the potential to travel in a vacuum and exist in the sun, even though it does have water in it. I mean, he just introduced a lot of scientific ideas to me. That's like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. This is super creative, and like, and I guess it was super easy for me to suspend my disbelief.
No, I think like don't sell yourself short, because I had the same feeling, like even coming from a biology perspective, we don't think a lot as an evolutionary biologist. We think about like what happened after life was here on Earth. We don't think about like origins of life. And I teaching intro bio, we teach about panspermia and those kind of hypotheses about how life could have arisen, but you never really think about like kind of logistically how that might have worked. Like you always sometimes we'll hear about like, oh, maybe, you know, life kind of rode in on an asteroid or something and came on to Earth. But you never really, I think he did bring up a lot of cool, creative ideas for kind of mechanistically how that might have happened.
Yeah. And panspermia is a concept that you see in other science fiction. Like, you know, that like Star Trek dealt with it. It's like, you know, where all the species in Star Trek were all related because some really, really ancient species like planted seeds everywhere. And so like that was something that they explored. But yeah, I love that that was brought up here too. But like living in the sun and the Venus, there's always Venus. It's always Venus. If you've read The Expanse,
it wasn't Venus in The Martian, Adam.
Oh, I haven't read
that
The
was
Martian.
Mars.
Context clues.
Spoiler alert, it's about Mars.
But it's about a man from Mars. If it was a woman, it'd be Venus, right? Isn't that the whole thing? From Mars,
yeah,
Venus.
Probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. Jeff still campaigning for Pluto over here in the comment section. Pluto hears you and appreciates that. But so Ryland Grace kind of I mean, somebody mentioned in the comments like everybody's working together to make this happen, which is rather optimistic. But you have someone like Strat who is running the show
and scary,
and she would have made a great Vulcan.
Yeah,
but
she was like ice in her veins, like nothing.
But I really liked her character. Even like she was very clearly, especially at the end, willing to do the hard things and like not even think about it. Like there's that
she knew she was going to pay for it later. Like she even mentioned she's probably going to go to jail after this. And then I think also she knew that she like her personally, like mentally and emotionally wasn't going to recover from it. Or at least that's the vibe I got.
Yeah. I mean, she just kind of switched off the emotion chip and just said, I got to do this to get this done. And ultimately the Strat was the perfect hire for that. She was. And I really liked her character and just how like no nonsense she was. That courtroom scene with her
that
was was kind of incredible.
I'm
where she's
immune
like,
to everything. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Here's my paperwork. Here you go.
Let's have this conversation so we don't have to have it again later.
Who did they cast?
Yeah, I saw her, but I don't know who that is. I don't know who that actress is in the trailer, but there's no way they would have chosen one single person to head it up. They'd have teams on each subject. Now that's like the one thing that I feel like Strat maybe didn't necessarily plan for. You know, she was all about having redundancies and doing it the hard way, but she was like the one person at the top. Like, what if something happened to her? That put Project Hail Mary in a little bit of jeopardy. But probably unpopular opinion. I think Strat did the right thing by sending Grace up. I also think that. Like, I think that.
I mean, clearly it worked out.
I mean, clearly we know what happened, but I think even then, like unemotionally, I'm like, I agreed with her. Like, it's easy for me to kind of be a third party and look at what the decision that she's made to basically like abduct him and throw him on a spaceship on a suicide mission. But I also agree. Like, she's right. I don't know what y'all think about that.
I mean, it's like one of those prisoners, like not prisoners, but like the, what do you call it? The dilemma of the like baby on the train
Like
tracks.
the train.
Yeah. I don't remember what you call it, but you know what I'm talking
like the
about.
trolley.
Yeah. Like, do you actively, is it like morally okay to like actively take action to kill one person versus like the whole world or something? Yeah.
Yeah. And Spock would say yes. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or the one.
He did get super lucky that the guy he met happened to be a phenomenal engineer.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. So Ryland goes off into space. He's out in the middle of nowhere with no memories. He has to like sort of piece together where he is. which is a bit of a risk. I mean, I guess they weren't planning on the other two dying in travel, but like for him to wake up with no memory whatsoever of anything and be all alone was.
Yeah, that could have been an issue.
That could have gone bad.
But I mean, they have things in place. Like he couldn't access anything until he said his name.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the trolley problem. But yeah, so he's out there and he's trying to figure out where he is. He figures out where he is.
He parks and he immediately.
Yeah, he parks and immediately like there's an alien spaceship. Now I did not see that coming. Did y'all? Were y'all as in the dark as I was about that?
Yeah, so the first time I read it, I only read it because I liked The Martian. Like I didn't know what it was about other than like I really liked The Martian, so I was like, I'm going to read this other book. I bet it's so like the first however far feels like The Martian, but like with space bacteria instead of Mars. But it's like, oh, this guy's got to survive in space and save the world. And then it was like, and then there was a ship, and I was like, what? Like, hold on. So I was definitely caught off guard, which is why I'm a big proponent of don't watch the trailer, because I feel like if they wanted you to know it was an alien book, they would have talked about the alien on the back of the book.
Yep.
I was kind of the reverse. Like I actively avoided reading this book, and I kept it off my list until several people were like, oh, you need to read this book, because I read the back of the book, I read the blurb, and I have no interest in reading about somebody's solo adventure in space. And so like I was not going to read this book until people were like, no, you need to read the book. All right, fine, I'll give it a chance. Yeah.
So were the aliens like a happy thing for you, where you're like, oh, neat, aliens?
Yeah.
Like the I'm talking about Rocky in particular, I think, because for me, like the alien, the astrophage, obviously extraterrestrial, but not quite in the same way as like a sentient life form from another planet. For some reason, there's a discrepancy there for me.
Yeah, no, it still would have been reading about a guy's solo journey in space with Astrophage. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's the same thing as like The Expanse, right? In the Expanse, there are no aliens in that way. Like there are no like Rockies, but there is the proto-molecule, which is kind of this like
there is alien life of a sort, but it's not like
it's not, it can't make friends with it.
Yeah.
And so like there's so like for me, there's like I kind of went into this thinking that it was gonna be more like The Martian, which I'm assuming is just there's no aliens in The Martian. No spoiler. I just assume that like it's kind of a like The Martian, Gravity, Interstellar, like these kinds of epic sort of sci-fi stories that are just human stories. And I thought that this was going to be the same thing. So when Rocky showed up, I was like, oh, we're doing this? Okay. And I didn't expect it at all, which is why I'm very glad that I didn't watch the trailer for the movie, because Rocky was just in there.
Yeah.
Not just a tease. Like I thought it was going to stop when they showed the spaceship, but no, it just kept going. It was like, hey, I'm going to call you Rocky.
And you're going to come be my roommate.
You're going to be my friend. But Rocky just added a whole new like layer to this story, and at first I was like, I don't know what to make of this, but we got a bunch of people in the comments who loved Rocky.
Oh yeah, well, because he was the best.
How they explained, like, so I like that they made Rocky and the humans like on par with each other, not like they were better at math and we were better at science, but like they're on par with each other as far as like most stuff. And I like that they also explained that later, and it wasn't just like, man, that's a big coincidence that we met someone that could help us with stuff and doesn't want to like solve all our problems for us, or also never left space. But they were like, hey, the only way we could have met is if we are on the same page, because the other people solved their own problems or they died. like this is the only way, is if we are sort of on the same level. So I did like that they explained that, because for a while I was like, this is kind of okay, convenient, but like I love it, but it's a little convenient.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a match made in heaven, wasn't it?
Mhm.
And he was super good at his job. Rocky was.
I mean, but in the same way, like, so is Ryland. Anybody who's going to go on a trek like that is going to be super good at their job. And they did explain it really well. Like, the reason why he was the only one of his crew that survived was because he was like surrounded by the astrophage, which protects from radiation, because they didn't know anything about radiation.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a whole lot of really convenient stuff, but like I felt like there was enough background about it that made it make sense for me.
I thought it was really interesting how he kept coming up with explanations for all this convenient stuff. It's like, okay, I could actually buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciated it. And I'm like, man, Andy, if you're watching, you're just like really well read on science, or you're making up some stuff that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, like I feel like he writes it in a way that you don't have to understand it. Because I took it as like he's the expert, so he's teaching me, the dummy, in like dummy terms, and I just have to trust. Like if it doesn't make sense, he's the guy. Like, okay, you know what you're doing, cool. And then it could be like, all right, got it. You had to do whatever with the gravity. Cool. Like, good job. And then same with Rocky. I feel like Rocky, I was just like, good for you, I guess. I'm glad you know about this chemistry, because I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, there did seem to be a lot of times where like they were just kind of able to make stuff happen without any sort of conflict. And then there were some times that there was some major conflict. And I'm pretty sure like the first, so we spent a lot of time with Ryland and Rocky trying to kind of communicate, and like they built their tunnels, and Rocky was able to like send a bunch of stuff back and forth to figure out, all that's, they kind of passed things along to figure that they did the tunnels, and there's a lot of time spent doing that as opposed to like solving the problem. And then then we get to them actually trying to solve the problem, where I feel like we had our first actual bit of conflict or roadblocks, which was when they tried to fish the thing into Adrian, the planet, and get
trying to collect the
Taumiba. How does that pronounce in the audio? Taumiba.
Yeah.
The Taumiba, and then obviously or whatever they scraped the bottom of the ship on the atmosphere, and it blew a hole in the fuel tanks, and everything started to go south for a minute after that. That was to me like the first bit of major sort of oh no moment. Because everything else seemed to go fairly smoothly, like them kind of figuring each other out. Like it took some time, but it seemed to go okay. Why did they not think to give him some kind of remote rover, some sort of drone or something that can withstand the high pressure atmospheres and things like that? But Rocky not knowing about radiation.
And again, explained away in a way that I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. All of the physics and the like atmospheric science behind it. And that's really cool.
And sort of the biological reason for not needing to know about it.
Yeah.
The way that they evolved on their planet, Arid.
Yeah, that's what Jeff just said too. And that radiation and relativity.
Yeah, relativity too. Yeah, it was like I was getting closer and it kept getting farther away, which still blows my mind.
That was the one thing I looked up and tried to read about, and even got away from Wikipedia trying to understand length contraction, and I still it's so beyond me. It's cool. I want to understand it, but I can't understand anything in relativity.
Relativity.
I did that deep dive with Interstellar. Was the first time I like really.
Oh yeah, I have the science of
went
Interstellar
down
on my
that
bookshelf.
rabbit hole of relativity and time and whatever. And at this point, like after that, if I read a book in sci-fi that talks about relativity, I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to understand this ever again, because that was the most confusing thing I've ever tried to understand. Absolutely gets me every time.
We better get Rocky action figures this time. We never got Tars action figures, and I was really mad. Like, I've been waiting, what is it, like 15 years now for Tars action figures, whatever.
Well, we're getting Project Hail Mary Lego, so it's happening.
Cool.
You get the Rocky action figures. And we have the opinion of a jeweler hobbyist here. Who's the most unbelievable part was that the super long chain that held together without actually closed links. That chain was 10 kilometers long. That's ridiculous. That's a big chain. But yeah, that was a crazy part. And then
he tried to be a doctor and made it all worse.
Yeah, almost killed him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was kind of preening. He was like, I used some canned air and blew the soot off your vents. Like, well, I blew my scabs off. What are you talking about? You yeah, the relationship between Ryland and Rocky was nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was collaborative, and I'm glad it wasn't. Yeah, I'm glad that Rocky had a personality, that he seemed like an individual, but also alien at the same time, because I think it's easy in science fiction to kind of generalize aliens. Like, you meet an alien species and they're all kind of the same. But I'm glad that they kind of gave Rocky a personality and things that he was good at, things that he was not so good at. He eventually was sarcastic, which is great.
It's another way you reminded me of Tars.
I don't know who Tars is. So
from Interstellar.
Interstellar. Oh, okay, I've seen Interstellar.
Yeah. We
should definitely talk about Interstellar too, because Marianne's here. So sorry she's late. That's okay. We're glad you're here. But like this definitely had, like, if you've seen Interstellar, if you've seen Gravity, if you've seen any of those kinds of movies.
I haven't seen either of those.
Even The Martian, probably.
Haven't seen Martian.
There is a bit of formulaicness to it, where, like, you gotta have Apollo 13. It's like, even that's based on a true story. You gotta have your things go wrong in space. Technology goes bad. You've got to scramble to fix things. All of the sort of tropes were here in this kind of science fiction story of a man adrift in the middle of nowhere. But I was going to say one thing that I really appreciated about this was somehow this book was able to convey to me this sort of grand sense of what it is like to be out there. And I don't know if y'all were able to feel any of that, like, as you read it, but like I kind of appreciated it. Like, I felt like I was able to live a little vicariously through Ryland, as someone who is actually probably too cowardly to actually do it, but really would love to go into space. Like, not just orbit, but like deep space. Like, I want to go see some stuff. But this book, I think, did a really good job of kind of putting you out there in a strange star system, 11 light years from Earth. Like, I think it did a really good job of painting the picture. I don't know how y'all felt about that. When he saw Adrian for the first time and was able to just kind of stop in the EVA and was like, damn, that's good.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about sort of, I guess this is near future sci-fi, like in systems that actually exist in our reality, is that it's easier to, like, kind of put yourself out there and experience it vicariously. I mean, I love, like, other sci-fi too, like completely made up stuff, far future. I love that. But yeah, that's one thing I definitely like about this type of science fiction. Agreed.
Yeah, and you get a good sense of like the remoteness too, of like just how vast it is. Like he was at Tau Ceti, but like Tau Ceti was basically like this big. He wasn't even. He was barely. He was like about as far away from it as maybe we are from the sun, right? 1 AU, is that what it is? It's an astronomical unit, the distance between the Earth and the sun.
Mm.
Is that right? Somebody fact check me on that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sounds
Right. It sounds right. Yeah.
But yeah, the scope and the sense of being that far away was tangible.
Well, and it was like he still wanted, like he wasn't like the typical, I feel like, of like sci-fi hero. It was like he calculated that he could get back. And even then he was like, I don't want to eat this. Like, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll just go in a coma because this is going to be awful to eat paste all the time. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, same. Like, that is a big, like, you're getting so crazy in there all by yourself eating like out of a toothpaste tube for 4 years. I would go in a coma too. I'd be like, that's enough. Like,
Right? Yeah. I mean, 4 years by yourself is a long time.
That's the thing. Like, I don't really, I mean, what you're eating is also not great, but yeah, 4 years by yourself. It's like,
Yeah. 4 years ago, if I would have gone crazy eating like paste.
Yeah.
But Willa says, oh, one thing that really didn't make sense to me was Rocky thinking the way his species eats is gross. Why would they think that if there was no other sentient species on their planet to make them feel that way?
okay, so this is now officially every book club I've ever been in has read this book. So I have had this discussion before because we are finally catching up. And we had talked about that in one of them. And it was basically the consensus was like, we do stuff I think is gross and every one of us does it. Like,
Nobody's ever going to see me poop.
yeah, or like even just like the stuff you would do in public. Like if you're sneezing right beside me, I'm going to think that's gross, even though I'm like, that is also biologically normal. And we all do it. Like it's still gross. So I think it was just like something that they do that they're like, all your insides came out and like plopped on a table and then you go comatose for a little bit. That's gross.
Well, they're basically pooping out of the mouth that they eat from, right? They're like,
yeah.
They're pooping and then
they eat but they have to like pre-shred up their little food.
Yeah, which in his defense, that's disgusting. I'm pretty sure
that is gross.
I'm pretty sure Rylan was like, yeah, that's gross, man.
Yep, you were right.
Never need to see that again. Just the cultural aspect. I wish we'd gotten a little more into that. Like there were some cultural clashes like that.
Well, and someone mentioned in the comments that they just had an understanding that if you say it's a cultural thing, like you just drop it.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I love that. I think that, I don't know, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they like took that and like used it to their advantage.
Yeah.
When they didn't want to talk about something.
Yeah.
Sneezing is never
normal, Katie. Never.
And
nobody ever sneezes.
And the sheer variety of sneezes too that you see. There are no two sneezes are like snowflakes. There are no two that are the same. People sneeze weird. Anyway, where were we? So things go wrong. They blow a hole in the fuel tanks. They got to fix that. They figure out that the Talmeba is allergic to nitrogen, basically. So much so that it will kill them. And that sucks because Venus and the other three world have nitrogen in the atmosphere. And so their predator, discovering that the astrophage has a predator solution wasn't going to work until they actually bred the Talmebas to be resistant to nitrogen. Which, okay, so Kathy.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering because as an evolutionary biologist, the breeding to certain traits, like how realistic is it that they were able to do that so quickly in their own lifetimes? Like,
Well, so I mean, it assumes a lot of things, and especially with like microbes, tend to have really fast generation times. So I mean, it's like why people will do research with fruit flies or like E. coli bacteria, because you can very rapidly breed a ton of generations for E. coli bacteria. And like, I mean, like I said in the Discord, I think I put it in the Discord, like it reminded me of two things. So first, in like kind of the setup, it reminded me of the long-term evolution experiment that's been going on since the 1980s, where they are breeding E. coli. They have like 12 flasks of different E. coli lineages, bacteria, and like they have this very regimented now setup where like they'll change out the nutrients every day, and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, to see what happens kind of. And over time, one of these populations just happened to evolve the ability to consume this other material that wasn't glucose as food, citrate. And so like surprising things happen. But it also reminded me of, because it was an example of an artificial selection experiment. So like you see this a lot, maybe Alex does like animal research, but especially with like agriculture and like breeding animals for food, you can definitely like breed certain, like target certain traits, and depending on the generation time of the species, depending on like how strongly you select for that trait and allow certain groups of individuals to breed, I thought it was pretty realistic that you could see evolution of nitrogen tolerance over time, just depending on, especially how they had these different cages set up for like different concentrations of nitrogen. And then you only let the survivors, like the most successful survivors, breed for future generations. So it's very strong selection on purpose. So you're going to see these rapid, large changes in the population and nitrogen tolerance over time.
well, that's super cool then.
Just rambled a lot.
No, that's really like interesting. I like that, because I'm sitting here thinking like, can you breed that fast? Can you breed that sort of like evolutionary change that fast? And I guess you can.
And it's cool. Like I wish that well, maybe like in the future, if I ever had the chance to teach evolution class again, we can use this as an example, because we typically in these like problems, when we're talking about quantitative genetics, there are examples that aren't as realistic. Like you're breeding cows to suddenly supply large amounts of milk or something. Like the cows have a very long generation time relative to like microbes. So things that aren't quite as realistic. This would be a really cool example to use in like a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so microbes, because
what I thought was funny was like, I feel like he was so hard on himself of like, oh, I'm so dumb, I didn't think about they would escape the container. I'm like, I would never consider that the container that held these for like 4 years of whatever and is holding these now would not. Oh, you're okay, man. Like I would have done that too. And he was just, I mean, I know he was gonna die, and I was just reading the book, but I was like, I wouldn't have thought that either. It's okay.
This material that like survives in this insane atmosphere.
Yeah.
You've never heard of
like
before.
Get through the molecules.
Yeah, and you've never heard of this chemical compound before, but it's like the strongest box ever. I don't think it's your fault that you
God, I'm so stupid. Yeah.
Through the molecules.
Right, the xenonite was like indestructible, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
So it is safe to assume nothing's going to get through that, even a microbe. But I guess when you're thinking about things on that scale, like I like the metaphor of going through the forest.
That was really cool. Yeah, like the random Brownian motion versus like the little critter that can actually sense what's happening.
Yeah, and the tennis balls and all that stuff. Like that was really, again, he made me think about a lot of things that I don't usually think about, which I think is pretty cool. But now everybody's talking about science in the comment section. It's great. He accidentally bred the Tau amoeba to go through xenonite, and this is where my head was going, because he was doing all the tests, and this shows how maybe how dumb I am, but he's doing all the tests, and they were not coming up conclusive. Like he was like, it didn't work. The astrophage didn't work. It didn't go clear. It didn't go clear. It didn't go clear. I thought that he had become infected with Talmiba, and that they were coming from him, and so that was going to be his reason to not be able to go home or to not live. It was because it was in him, and maybe it's because I watched No Time to Die recently. I'm not going to spoil that one, but that one was nanobots. But
I'm not going to spoil that, but
it was a nanobot thing. But that's where my head went. It was like he was all gung ho. He's like, I'm gonna get to go home. We're going home. I'm getting to go. And I was like, you're not gonna go. I know how this goes.
Man, when he realized that Rocky was having the same problem as him, and he realized he had to make that enormous choice, my heart just dropped for him.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking as he was discovering like what had happened, and like, oh, it can go through Xenonite. I was thinking like immediately, I was like, oh no, Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rocky. And then he's like, Rocky.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
because all up until then, like he's made the coward decision. Like, you know, he has this opportunity to be the hero and go into space, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And yeah, I don't want to do that. And
yeah,
now he comes through.
So how are y'all during that sort of heartbreaking decision that he had to make?
I honestly did not know which way he was going to go. And they like dragged it on like before the reveal for a while. It felt like, which was really effective. And I just, I had a lot of feelings, but it was, it was really well done. And I'm glad he made the decision he made. But I mean, at the expense of, we didn't get to find out what Earth looks like, which I want to know desperately. Yeah. Because they talked about like you paved half of the desert. Like, of course that had ramifications. You started like
blew up Antarctica.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the Earth is radically different than it was when he left.
It's been like what, 26 years ultimately.
Yeah. Well, and then by the time you get back, it'd be even longer, of course. Like, I'm so curious what Earth looks like. And like what happened to what's her name? That's probably in jail.
Strat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see him confront her at the end. So there was a lot of like, you know, with me, it was a lot of like, maybe he will get to go. Okay, maybe he will get to go. Maybe he will. And then
yeah,
he's not gonna get to go home.
Yeah. But then maybe he will.
I mean, he has the option now.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, he is now a citizen of Arid.
Yeah.
and is now teaching in a classroom on Arid, teaching the little Aridites.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really cool. That was a fun ending.
Yes.
But we did get that little bit of coda. They say, hey, your star's back to normal now. He was like, nice.
Yeah, but what does Earth look like? I just need to know.
Yeah, is it too late for Earth?
Or too late for humanity?
Too late for humanity? I want to believe that probably it is. But he's eating me burgers, which
was funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
They cloned his own muscle tissue. And made
that
food
was
out of it.
Fantastic.
Which
I mean, if all of their food has heavy metals in it that are lethal.
Right? They made it
Rocky's
work.
Like, it's healthy.
Yeah. They made it work.
I thought a really good reveal was when we found out that he was forced on the trip or on the Project Hail Mary. I was not expecting that at all because it makes perfect sense to me that just a coma for 3 years or what? Yeah, 3 years is going to wipe out your memory for a while. I'm like, that. I also I guess I knew he went on the Project Hail Mary. So of course he volunteered, right? He like cares about his kids and he cares about humanity. Like it makes perfect sense that he would volunteer. So like learning that he didn't was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that reveal. That was, I think, going back to the coma in that way was an even cooler justification for the coma, the literary device of having amnesiatic. I don't know what the word is. A character with amnesia at the beginning of the story, because of course amnesia is a trope and it's a device to put characters in situations where they don't remember anything. It's like how every like RPG starts. It's like, who am I? Oh, you're the hero of time. Oh,
But there again, and like you said, I appreciated that. I mean, I sort of appreciated this as a plot device too, where they kind of explained away the amnesia beyond just, oh, conveniently he woke up with amnesia when, you know, if his colleagues had survived, they supposedly wouldn't have, because then everybody has amnesia and that sucks. So,
And you're stuck in space.
That would have been way more convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually made more sense.
Yeah,
I was definitely surprised too when I got to that point and I was reading and he had to make that choice, and like obviously he's there, we know he's there, so he made that choice. Wait, he didn't make that choice? Then what happened here? Well, big twist.
Like, I forgot that part, but I remembered that they blew up the two main ones. So but I also couldn't remember when. So every single scene that the two of those people were in,
I thought that was going to be it. Me too. When I was rereading it. Yeah.
And then it would have happened. I'd be like, wasn't it in this book? Like, wasn't it in another book? Like, I'm pretty sure they blew them up. And then, like, at one point, finally, I was like, I think this is in another book that I'm obviously of. And then when it finally happened and they like forced him on, I was like, that's not how I remember they blew up. Then I thought you were like, oh, I'll go. I have the gene. And I 100% like repressed the memory of him being adopted and like forced onto a ship. So I don't know.
So I agree with this comment. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I agree with the comment this person said from YouTube that like we all like to think that we would do the right thing, but like when you're put in that situation, like that's an insane decision to have to make. Yeah.
Also, he had like 3 hours.
Yeah.
He'd been working on this for like 4
see you
years.
at 5.
Time during the 4 years to be like, hey, would you be willing to be a backup guy 4 years from now in case? But they were like, it's noon. Decide by the end of the day, please. Like,
whether you're gonna go and never come back.
Yep.
That was I think that's an interesting question that you never really know the answer to until you're put in that situation, which I hope I'm never put in that situation. Honestly, it'd be great. I want to talk about Dubois or Dubois. How would you say? How was it pronounced in the
audiobook? It was Dubois.
No, see, in my head, I kept calling it Dubois.
What an interesting character that guy was.
Pull up Leanne's comment about it.
That's why I was chuckling.
That's what I
will fit with what you're saying.
That's what I thought was happening, was that they blew up the lab because they were messing around in there.
Yeah.
But he was actually a Vulcan. I think that guy was actually a Vulcan.
He reminded me of Worf.
It's a Klingon. But because like obviously he'd struck up a relationship with the other science person from team number 2, the backup team, but they were just so different, and he was like, Mrs. So-and-so, would you care to engage in coupling? And she's like, yeah, sure, let's get it on. And then they both died. Which, you there is obviously, because of the structure, there is foreshadowing of like how does he end up on this mission? Like clearly, like what happens to these people? So I'm glad that it wasn't just like I guess I'll go kind of thing. I guess I'm the only one left, because that's kind of the easy route to go with it. But the fact that he didn't want to go and they forced him to, and that's the reason for his amnesia, was, I think, chef's kiss. Structuring and sort of full circling of everything. But yeah.
There's some other like random. I'm scrolling through my highlights from the Kindle edition, but so the little random thing that I thought was funny was when like he was on Earth and he was kind of explaining the whole situation to his students and like all of these terrible things that could possibly happen once the sun loses energy, et cetera, and they're all horrified just like listening to him. And like, well, like when is that supposed to happen? It's like, well, they're saying that it could happen within the next 30 years. And then all of a sudden, just the entire class is just relieved. Yeah. No, that's just like way in the future.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're in 8th grade.
I could hear the relief in my head. Yeah.
When you're in 8th grade and you're what, like 13?
Oh, 30 years.
You're like 30 years from now, that's forever. That's my parents, whatever. Yeah. And but I also like that he was kind of sad for them. I was like, this is going to hit them at like, they're going to inherit this pretty much. I'm only going to eat meat burger and also make me bacon.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with DNA.
Do whatever you want, probably at that point.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, not a bad way to go, right? But he was, what, 40-something by the end of it? Or 50-something. He was like in his 50s by the end of it. And I'm always fascinated by time dilation and that sort of thing. Because, there's so much science fiction where time dilation isn't a thing. Like Star Trek.
They just went around.
Yeah, they've warped, faster than light speed to another place that's very, very far away, and then just call home like it's no big deal and everyone's the same age and whatever. And so like time dilation was never really, I mean, obviously if time dilation acted like it's supposed to in Star Trek, it would be insane. There would be no going back home, really.
Yeah.
But and it's like Ender's Game deals with time dilation. That might have been one of my first kind of exposures to it. Interstellar, the movie, definitely plays around with time dilation. But thinking about the fact that it took him 3 years to get to where he was, but because he was traveling so fast, it was actually like 12 years in Earth time.
And then they had to go back.
I think this was the first one that I've read that actually dealt with the distance effect, though. That's why I spent so much time looking that up. Like I know the general idea of time dilation, not that I understand that at all either, like as far as wrapping my head around why. But the distance thing, I was like, I don't think I've ever heard that before. So I'd spent a lot of time trying and failing to wrap my head around that.
Jeff says it doesn't warp speed get around. It does. Like they create a warp bubble around the ship when they travel, and that protects them from time dilation somehow. Don't know how exactly how they are protected from time, because really I don't know. Discussion, physics, the chat. What would I taste like?
Oh, another like random thing as I'm scrolling through here that I thought was really cool was the gun device that Rocky made to convert like on-screen text and images to something that like has texture that he could see. Like, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Rocky was he was so good.
I mean, convenient that he could do that, sure. But I mean, I'm willing to suspend disbelief for that. Like that was
so
really
convenient.
Cool. Yeah.
That he was just able to I'll fix it. I'll do it. I'll build it.
It's a really neat idea.
Like he basically rebuilt Ryland's engines.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I feel like he also went from like when he made that, he was so amazed by humans being able to see colors, and he's like, "You can see light.
You can see sound, or what you can.
Yeah, you can like
taste the light,
hear light,
hear light. Yeah."
And then like when the lights went off, he was like, "You guys kind of suck. Like you're useless.
He's like, wait, what happened?"
I was like, "Yeah, like we can see cool stuff until you can't, and then we have nothing."
Well, we've hit the hour mark, so let's talk about the ending just a little bit, like, and how it kind of resolved. So they saved the day
for both planets.
for both planets. He wasn't able to go home because he made the choice to go
Save Rocky.
save Rocky,
And his planet.
but was able to find a way to live on Rocky's planet, and then just kind of made a life there. How did y'all feel about the ending?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. Again, like I was disappointed that I didn't get Earth's final story, but I thought the ending was great.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
liked it.
Mhm.
Because then also in theory, I like the thought that like he still gets to like be a like Earth hero because they got his data and they can be like he made first contact with a bacteria and a real live intelligent alien. He's awesome, whatever. But then also he could have his buddy and like be with them. And I like that they figured out not just like kept him alive as like an alien, but they like gave him like a life there and a job, and he has a house.
Mhm.
He has a house, but he has like a place to live in his dome. So
Yeah, and like Tiffany said, I would have liked to find out
Mhm.
what happened on Earth. I think Christy already talked about that, but I like the ending too. It was a happy ending, and I think there seems to be a tendency now for people to not like happy endings.
Mm.
Be like,
Mhm.
oh, he should have died.
There's
Like,
a place for a not happy ending, but I think that this was
This one
a
wasn't
place for a
that.
happy ending. Yeah.
because like I think we would have been equally as affected by it if he had made that choice to go on the suicide mission after not making the choice to go on the suicide mission and being happy that he got to go home, and then because he had developed this friendship, decided to sacrifice himself, which he did do. He didn't know he was going to live, but if that had gone through and he sacrificed himself to save Arid and his planet, but he was unable to live ultimately, we would have felt the tragedy of that. It would have been a tragic ending. And probably still would have been like, it was good. It was good because it made you feel a certain way. And I think the tendency to not want happy endings is because I think there is a kind of backlash against things just working out. It's like, life isn't like that. Things just don't work out like that. But I think in this case, at least for me, I like the ending.
I like Dan's comment here.
It was a happy ending without it being a predictable ending.
Mhm.
He didn't need to go home and get praise or recognition. He found where he belonged.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we at least found out that like Earth survived in some form, whatever that is. Because just knowing that, okay, so his work for Earth, I mean, he ultimately worked for the other planet too, but like it wasn't completely it wasn't in vain. Like the little beetles made it back and they did their thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
like it. I like knowing that.
Yeah, they managed to do something and it worked out. I think in this case, I'm happy that their friendship got to continue, and that nobody had to die.
yeah,
Except for, his crewmates.
Except for, well, they died in the beginning. Then.
well,
They
and
weren't part of
if
this.
he had gone back, then he would have had to say, like, here's what happened. Here's how to save Earth. Also, there's aliens out there, but not anymore because I came here and the only one left with the solution to their planet died and now they're all dead.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So like could he have lived with himself if he had gone home and saved his own planet, knowing that
No,
Rocky was
definitely not.
adrift in space and that the Arid was going to just die. Yeah, so good ending. Are you gonna read the next one? No, there's no next one. It's a standalone book for once.
Yeah.
There is a third book, and I might be a Scrooge, but I'm gonna Scrooge on it for a second. I thought The Martian and Project Hail Mary were so good, and then the third one is called Artemis, and I hated it. And then
That's
I
what I
looked
hear.
and I did. Basically, if I really like a book, I leave it at that. And if I don't like a book, I read why everybody else didn't like it for validation. And it was something about like, however they came up with it. It was like his first two books were such a big hit. He got really pushed of like, you need to make another one. You need to make another one. So he like cranked one out really quick and it was not as good. But if you read it and you like it, please tell me why we should like it because I really wanted to. Like
I don't
really-
remember much about it. I read it a while ago and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I mean, The Martian was pretty good. I like this one better than The Martian. Artemis was third, but it wasn't super far below.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of boring.
Also, like the sciencey part, I feel like he focuses on, like The Martian, I feel like is a lot of like physics and agriculture, and then this was physics and biology, and the Artemis is like welding and engineering, and my brain
that's right. Yeah.
does not compute. Like I don't care about welding or space welding or any of that, so it lost me. But I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we were actually talking about that earlier. Like I was just saying, like I love these 2 books that I've read by him. Like I should read Artemis, but I think y'all have successfully talked me out of that already.
So like it's a lot more like, I feel like typical sci-fi, because I think I don't remember if they're on a planet or on the moon, but the premise is like people live like in space. So you're already starting with like typical sci-fi, and it lost me real fast.
Got it.
Y'all can't see the
We
Instagram
talk about
comment.
welds, and I was just like, I don't really care about the welds that you're doing.
On Instagram, Mosca Girl says, the nicest thing I've heard about Artemis is that it was fine, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. I mean, there are Goodreads reviews that are like that absolutely slam it. And I was like, I didn't feel that way about it or the character or anything or his writing, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but I also couldn't really tell you what it was about.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember it anymore, other than I didn't really like it.
Yeah. So you don't have to go read Artemis.
Yeah.
There's no sequel to Project Hail Mary, and I don't think there's. But are you going to see the movie?
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'll see it, but I don't know if I'll go. I haven't been to a theater, I think, since before COVID, so we'll see.
So you'll see it eventually.
Yeah.
We should find some way to do like a
Yeah, if we all go, then I'll join, but I won't just go by myself.
Well, let's all go then.
Yep.
Come to Birmingham, everybody.
We need to announce.
That's
April's
right.
book.
Well, first of all, that will wrap up our discussion for Project Hail Mary. But if you want to keep talking about Project Hail Mary, go to our Discord, Literarily Wasted Discord. There's going to be a link somewhere, posted somewhere you can get to it.
That was helpful.
There's an ongoing thread on Discord where we can continue to talk about Project Hail Mary. You can talk about it in our Facebook group, the Literarily Wasted Lounge. You can send us messages on Instagram or whatever. That's where we can keep talking about Project Hail Mary. And we're definitely going to do a movie follow-up at some point.
Yes.
But next month is March, and March's book is The 7.5 Deaths
Kind of big.
of Evelyn Hardcastle. And yes, this is a big
Woo-hoo.
book. Dan posted the link to Discord. There it is. If you want to screenshot that.
Or if you're in the Facebook comments, you can go.
Yeah, if you're in the Facebook comments, you can probably click on it. But if you're not, you can screenshot that. That'll take you to the Discord where you can join, and lots of lively discussions happening.
Yeah, and we'll be doing the club meeting on March 11th and the live discussion on March 25th.
Yes. So the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I'm probably going to start tonight.
Yeah, you should.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. But
please do not wait until 2 days before.
Which is what I read most of Project Hail Mary yesterday and today, which I'm not sad about. It was what a ride. What a ride that was. But yeah. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. You can't click on it on Facebook either. So screenshot that. Mosca Girl. I haven't been to the theater in a few years, but I'm planning on going for this one. Yeah, we don't go to the theater very often.
But we're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna make time for this one. But this one sounds awesome. Y'all voted for this one for March, so this is what we're reading in March. And for April, we have a winner. No surprise.
Yay!
Woohoo!
It's LMNOP.
This overwhelmingly won, and I'm so excited to read this with you. And this one's only like 206 pages,
Oh, yeah.
so
Look at the difference.
And a lot of them are like not real pages.
yeah.
They're not even full.
So here's March. Here's April.
Yeah. So, and for your April book, maybe skip the audiobook on this one. I think it's very important to actually look at the pages.
Yeah, look at the pages.
Or look at the words.
Read it with your eyes, not read it
Not
with your
ears.
ears.
Not with your ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very exciting books coming up, and of course, Project Hail Mary coming out in theaters March 20th, which we are also very excited to see with our eyes.
Yes.
And hear with our ears. Short Story Club coming up in March. How to Raise a Kraken in Your Bathtub.
That sounds fun.
That sounds informative. Something I've Googled many times and never found an answer to. So
Probably against my lease.
yeah, well, that's probably in the fine print for sure. No Krakens in your bathtub in this apartment complex.
I don't think they mention krakens. I know they don't mention salamanders specifically.
And that's historically the Wednesday in between our club meeting and the book discussion, right? The Short Story Club.
I think, yeah, they try to do that. Yeah, Dan asked, is that March 18th, Jeff?
So he has not looked at that yet. Probably needs to check his calendar before saying. So stay tuned.
Keep an eye out for updates.
Stay tuned on when Short Story Club's going to be meeting and discussing that short story. A lot of fun things coming up. The club meeting in March. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. The end of March. Elemento P in April. It's going to be a good time.
And always don't forget Dark Book Club.
Don't forget Dark Book Club either. Dark Book Club's on Discord. The Dark Book Club in March is Tales from the Gas Station.
That sounds like our
sounds terrifying already.
That sounds like our Choose Your Own Adventure.
It does.
Yeah.
The take a shot that we all
Yep.
back in the day. So all fun things happening on Literarily Wasted. If you joined us on Instagram for the first time, welcome. Stick around. There's a whole lot of fun to have. If you joined us on YouTube or Facebook for the first time, stick around. We've got a lot of fun coming up. But that about does it for our book discussion for Project Hail Mary. Thank you, Alex and Kathy, for being on screen with us. And of course, thank you to everybody who made this such a lively discussion in the comment section. We're just happy to have everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye everybody. Bye. Gotta click a lot of buttons and ending the stream. Bye everybody.